Las Vegas is always filled with stars, but today they will shine on a sunny afternoon on the streets of downtown. The stars of the Champ Car World Series are ready to raise the curtain on the 2007 season. The Champ Car World Series in 2006 was full throttle excitement from the first lap to the finish. A season punctuated by motion and emotion, crashes and clashes. When the final checkered flag fell, we had a three-time series champion to celebrate. Today, sporting an impressive look and intense attitude, Champ Car kicks off 2007 in the streets of Vegas.
This is a new era for Champ Car for sure. Going to a spec series with very few changes you can do on the car, it's very, very different from what we're used to.
I have more experience than most others, but you know, the guys that are young are definitely out here fast and trying to prove that they can win as well.
I'm very excited. New car, starting on a new track, just driving with your knife between the teeth all the time. You know, 100%, never give up.
You don't have to be a psychic to know that Champ Car 2007 is set for a dazzling debut. Next on NBC. NBC Sports presents the 2007 Champ Car World Series. Today, it's the Vegas Grand Prix. One word describes the 2007 Champ Car year: new. A new chassis, new faces, and the year begins on this new street circuit. Let's get you started with the stories as we begin our countdown to green. Just moments ago, our team of pit reporters went to work. Here's Marty Snyder.
Well, thanks, Bill. Will Power has won 2 of the last 3 poles in the Champ Car World Series, including here this weekend. Your team got so much better at the end of the year last year. Are you seasoned enough to win a race today?
Yeah, I think we're ready. We're definitely there on pace. You know, the team's worked really hard over the winter and, you know, on pole. I mean, they're all the ingredients you need to win a race, but it's going to be a lot of mayhem because the tyres go off around here fairly badly. So I think that there'll be a lot of alternate strategies, and we'll see at the end.
To Cameron Steele.
Right on, Marty. Well, in 16 years of Champ Car racing, he's been called everything from the man to a maniac, and the new sponsor, I'm already hearing people calling you the monster at Champ Car out there. But you really did come out and attack this track right away. It must be nice to be in your hometown.
No, it's great. I mean, it's you know, it's been a long road for me, but time goes by when you're having fun. So, you know, I've been in the series now for 16 years, and to be able to race here in Vegas in front of my home crowd with our sponsors, Forsyth Indec, and now having Monster on board is great.
Right on, he's looking for his 31st win, and let's head over to Bill Stevens with our series champion.
Sebastian Bourdais did not have a very good Friday, and yesterday was no bargain either. In qualifying, he hit the wall, has had mechanical problems with his car, and this is not a misprint. He is starting 16th today. Sebastian, I got to ask you, is that car good enough to move you through the field today?
Well, I think it was really quick yesterday. We were P1 in the practice qualifying session, and we were looking really good in qualifying, but I made a very costly mistake crashing the car on lap 2, second fast lap, so they took away my fastest lap, which would have been good enough for 6. But, you know, it's all on me, and now it's going to be pretty hard to move up because the tires are going off really fast, but we'll do our best.
We wish you luck today. Let's go to the 4th member of our NBC pit crew, Michelle Beisner.
All right, Graham, it's been 9 years since we've seen the Rahal name on the Champ Car grid. You're making your debut here at a very young age. You've had some problems, though, through the weekend.
Yeah, we had a crash yesterday morning, which kind of took us a step back, but certainly the team's doing a great job. We've made some huge strides this morning. I think we've got a great race car.
Thanks, Michelle. Hi, everybody. Bill Weber along with Wally Dollabach and Jan Beekes. Thanks for having us in for the race. And from our entire NBC race family to your family, happy Easter. The 17 stars of the Champ Car World Series anxious to get the season started. But Wally, you've had a lot of success on a number of different street circuits. The course could be the star of the show.
I think it is. This is probably the finest street course I've ever seen. It's just a layout. It's smooth. It's fast. There's one section that's bumpy, but this place is wide, and that's what you don't normally see on a street course, how wide it is. But it's a lot of fun. All the drivers I've talked to has had a great time. Let's take the track map. The straightaway is wicked fast. Right here, past the start finish line, going into turn 1, you're over 185 miles per hour. Between 1 and 2 and 3, that's where it gets a little bit bumpy. We'll see some guys here with brake issues, especially on braking. This is the rhythm section, all second gear corners, about 50 miles per hour through these corners. But I'll tell you what, Jan, for the last couple of days, we've seen some interesting things happening at the chicane. It's been a lot of fun to watch some of these cars, what they're doing in chicane, but that could cause some issues in today's race.
Yeah, it's been pretty wild. And first of all, the reason that they have a chicane, if they didn't have it, the cars would literally take off on the approach to the tunnel itself. Now, interesting, it's a bit like ski racing, and that is you want to straight line the gates. And when you try and straight line the gates, you can see sometimes it really abuses your body in ski racing, but here, look how it can abuse the car for Sebastian Bourdais, literally flying through the air down through the tunnel. You don't want to do that during the race because your car's not going to make it to the checkered flag.
Plenty of excitement, and the green flag is less than 25 minutes away. Back to pit road when we continue. This is the Champ Car World Series on NBC. NBC Sports presents the Champ Car World Series Vegas Grand Prix. Brought to you by the all-new Mazda CX-9, 7 passengers, the Zoom Zoom way. And by Bridgestone. For drivers who want to get the most out of their cars, it's Bridgestone or nothing. 2.4 mile street course here in downtown Vegas. It's gotten fantastic reviews. What's it like to be out on this track? Well, we put our best man on it, and it was a whole different world for Wally.
You know, how cool would it be if they just shut the streets down for you so you can just rip around with no traffic? Well, that's exactly what they did here in Las Vegas, just for us. Turn 1, now all these corners are pretty much second gear corners, about 50 miles per hour. Now to the straightaway right here, these guys are going to be hitting about 165 miles per hour before they come down into this hard right turn, another second gear corner. Good passing zone right here. This is really a cool corner right here. It's kind of a double apex corner. Right up against the wall here. Hold her in second. Wide. Another short chute. Again, second gear corner, about 50 miles per hour. Hard left here. Little short chute. All rhythm. Right through this section is all about rhythm, which I have none, as you can see.
Well, looks like you had a lot of fun, but nobody rode with you here, Wally.
I had a rider lined up. What happened, Jan?
Had to make room for a cameraman.
That's what it was.
Jan, this could be a big day for some of the veterans in this sport.
I think so, because the rookies can be fast in qualifying, but when it comes to a street course on a hot day when you have to manage your tires, I think today it's going to be in the veterans' hands, and it's going to be a tough learning curve for some of those rookies.
And there are some of those big names to be watching today. Been a fun week here in Las Vegas, here at the track, and even around town. In fact, earlier this week, a gala fundraiser at the Bellagio, the Keep the Memory Alive Foundation, benefiting the Lou Ruvo Brain Institute, and Jay Leno was there.
DJ Press in the house. This is where they should have a Grand Prix, actually. I mean, it has everything else except a Grand Prix. You got the entertainment, you got the food, you got everything except Grand Prix, so now the circle is complete.
And also there that night, John Bon Jovi, Big and Rich. You saw Jay, and there was a lot of entertainment all over the place, including the Teddy Bears performing their hit, A Different Sound. And here's some vintage footage for you. We actually had this colorized for your viewing pleasure. Wally Dallenbach in the open wheel cars, and you had a lot of fun, a lot of success in those, huh?
Yeah, yeah. No, it was fun. It was a good time. That was a Denver Grand Prix there, and they're fun cars. These are fun courses to drive. They're very busy. I mean, you can't make a mistake here.
Yeah.
And that's one thing you really got to stay on top of your game. For the rookies, you got to pay attention to your mirrors.
Yeah. Well, you guys were both rookies before you were veterans. 8 rookies in this field, 7 making their first start in Champ Car today.
Yeah, one of them got to meet, Paul Tracy's a really good guy. He's one of the veterans, and he goes around and introduces himself to some of the rookies. Mr. Pagano got a visit yesterday. Don't know if that's what he was looking for, that kind of visit, but during qualifying, Paul thought he got blocked a little bit and went and had a conversation with him.
Well, here's what happened during qualifying. Tracy was out trying to make his fast lap.
Yeah, Tracy was on one of his flyers, and I don't think Pagano really saw that Tracy was coming and didn't get out of the way. So Paul just said, hey, let's have a drink afterwards, maybe have some dinner and get to know each other.
And we got to look at some of those rookies that are in this field. Some have had stars, and some are trying to make themselves a star.
Yeah, and one thing about Paul Tracy's just trying to get in everybody's head. He's famous for that. I don't think that really Simone Pagano held him up too much, but he wants to make sure, hey, I'm Paul Tracy, and I'm after you.
Okay, well, obviously Graham Rahal and Simone Pagano had a lot of success in the Atlantics. For Rahal, it was a 6-win season and a battle for the championship that went down to the final race. But the championship was won by Pagano. He had 1 win, a number of podiums, and of course several top 10 finish. A lot of success for those 2 drivers in the Atlantic Series. And now they try and make their name in Champ Car. Take a look at the starting grid for today's season opener for the 2007 Champ Car World Series. It's an exciting field, and as you look at the front row, you can see Will Power and Paul Tracy are up there. Tracy, a former series championship. Robert Doornbos and Alex Tagliani start in row 2.
On the next road, Simone Pagano, we just spoke about him. He has been lightning fast, but has had problems with the car. And Bruno Junqueira now driving for Dale Coyne.
Take a look at row 4 in today's season opener. You can see young Justin Wilson, one of the rising stars in Champ Car.
Neil Johnny. I think we'll be saying here's Johnny today, as well as Graham Rahal. A lot of high expectations for Rahal.
Rahal, just an 18-year-old rookie in row 6. There's Speedy Dan Clark. He's back there. Wally, I think you can actually do row 7 for us.
Yeah,
here.
Captain Legg is in row 7, and Matt Halliday. Hey, I can pronounce those too, so take it from here, Bill.
Then in row 8, Ryan Diesel and Sebastian Bourdais. Bourdais will be the exciting one to watch, coming from deep in the field. We'll continue our coverage of the Champ Car World Series from Las Vegas. The motor start is coming up. We'll be back after these words and Bill Clement at the ADT Update Desk. This an opportunity earlier today to eavesdrop on the Newman Haas Lanigan team meeting. Let's listen in.
All right, guys, let's get ready to go. This is Las Vegas, the first race of the 2007 season. It's the first race with a new car. It's the first race with a new strategy. I know we're not where we wanted to be necessarily in terms of where we are on the grid, but I think one of the strengths of this team is that we're really, really good with strategy, and hopefully we'll be able to capitalize on this situation by dealing with it the best.
The whole theme here is new. New cars, new rules, the new faces.
Is that a new tie you have on?
Yes, it is. It is brand new for this occasion. Something wrong with this tie? We talked about the new car. These fans are here to get a look at the stars of Champ Car, and one star is the chassis, and Jan had a chance to take a look at it.
When a series designs a race car, you can do some pretty cool things. And Champ Car started with a raised nose, meaning more air goes underneath the car, providing most of the downforce, so the front and rear wings now do less of the job so the cars can run closer together in traffic. Now the chassis itself is a little larger, much safer, and the drivers have a 7-speed paddle shift at their disposal on the steering wheel. But it's still a Champ Car. It's got the Cosworth V8 turbocharged power plant still behind the driver that gives it that distinct Champ Car sound. And underneath the skin, behind the 7-speed gearbox, is an onboard starter. If your favorite driver gets in trouble, he should be able to refire and get back in the race.
And that'll be one of the things we'll be watching for today with this new car. The flyover here at Las Vegas. A lot of excitement surrounding this event. The fans have come out, and obviously looking forward to this start to the 2007 Champ Car World Series. Jan, you did have a chance to take a look at that car. Obviously, a lot of teams are excited about it, and we'll see how it all plays out. Let's check in with Marty Snyder.
Well, Bill, let's talk about some of the cool electronics on these cars. This steering wheel is worth about $10,000. They're going to put it on Robert Doornbos' car right now, and the steering wheel now has paddle shift on it. That'll be a big key today. Paddle shift is up on the steering wheel. They shift up on his right, down on his left. It also has power to pass. These guys can hit this red button. They have 60 seconds of power to pass. They also know when they need to shift. They can see timing from the guys in front of them and behind them. $10,000 in that one steering wheel, Cameron.
What you're looking at right here with Team Australia behind Simone Pagenaud's car is the starter. Well, that is the external starter. Like Jan talked about, they do have an onboard starter, and what this is being used for, if they have a spin or to stall the car out on the track, they're hoping that the starter is able to start the cars. They have been working in the pits. We'll find out later today if they work out on the track.
A lot of unknowns today, but a lot of excitement in the air. We'll be back in a moment with the start of the Champ Car World Series Vegas Grand Prix. After these messages and a word from our local NBC stations, a 2.4-mile course, 10 turns, and a lot of excitement in the air here at Las Vegas. You're watching the Champ Car World Series on NBC. Today, a new beginning and a new challenge for the stars of the Champ Car World Series. These are the precious final moments when drivers and crew are sharing the same dream, the dream of winning it all.
Sebastian Bourdais to close out the 2006 Champ Car World Series season.
In 2006, the road belonged to 28-year-old Frenchman Sebastian Bourdais. The fast driver earned his third straight Champ Car title, racing to a series-high 7 victories. Fiery Paul Tracy lost some punch last year.
Paul, put your helmet on. Put your helmet on. Fisticuffs break out behind the wall.
Is this a replay of San Jose?
But in 2007, the former series champ is back, and this street fight is in his town. One young driver wants to follow in his famous father's tire tracks. Graham Rahal makes his Champ Car debut in Vegas at the age of 18. Now, speed meets greed as the Champ Car World Series comes charging through the streets of downtown Vegas in front of a full house. Get ready to place your bets because these drivers know that in this daring game of chance and champions, only one person walks away a winner. NBC Sports live in downtown Las Vegas, Nevada for the season opener for the Champ Car World Series, the Vegas Grand Prix. The cars have fired on pit road, beginning to roll out of pit lane and onto this 2.4-mile track. A lot of excitement here in the air. There are 17 cars in this field, 8 rookies, 7 are making their first appearance in the Champ Car World Series. Be 2 laps here before we go green. A number of storylines here. You see the starting grid at the top of the screen. First of all, while these cars are warming up, let's start with the track. This is the heading down toward turn 3, the rhythm portion of it, but it's a lot of fun to drive, Wally, but it's really a challenging drive.
Yeah, it is a challenging drive, but like I said, this is so unique because it's so wide. You don't normally see this much room in between the walls on a street course, so you can really hustle a car here. You know, these guys, it's new cars, and there's a lot of questions in the air right now about new car blues. We just saw that graphic come up. You know, it's Lola. Last time they came out with a new car, they had new car blue. So, I mean, I love the concept. I think this is a great idea. I think Champ Car is going in the right direction. The drivers seem to love the race cars. So we'll just have to see if these cars have the same problems or it's just going to be regular gremlins on a race car.
Well, they're hoping that poor performance or poor lead-in makes for great performance. And I think in this particular case, tire management is another thing we're going to want to look at. That was part of that graphic as well. And I think that really what you want to do here is be careful not to abuse the tires because they do go off fairly quickly. They're not going to wear out, but you're certainly going to lose a lot of grip.
And I think what we're going to see a lot today, too, is guys that are locking up those front tires going into these corners. You really got to dive in hard on these corners, and we'll see some guys locking those tires up. And like Jan says, his tire management, you can flat spot one of these tires real easy if you lock a tire up and it goes 25 to 30 feet without spinning.
Let's take a look at the race rundown for today's Vegas Grand Prix. A number of new rules in effect for 2007, including the fact these are timed races now. It's a 2.44-mile track. There are 12 turns, and the fuel window is about 22 to 25 laps, and obviously pit strategy could be a huge factor here today.
It could, and really the variable when you have a timed race is you don't know the number of laps based upon how many caution periods you have. So the computers up and down pit road have programs written that the more yellow you get, they automatically calculate for the teams how many laps the race will be.
Let's get some final stories before we go green down on pit road. Here's Marty.
Well, guys, talked to Paul Tracy this morning, and he said he found some things on his car after practice yesterday that he was surprised his car actually ran so well. He called it a wear part that broke, and he wouldn't tell us what it was because he thought other teams would break that same part today, and he didn't want to give out the trade secret. But they found it on the 3 car early on, and they're much more confident today because they got that part fixed. Bill?
Couple of stories at our sports. I saw Alex Tagliani outside the hotel a couple of nights ago. During the course of the conversation, I said, Alex, what do you think of turn 1 on race day? And he gave me that big grin of his, and he said, it's going to be crazy. Also, his teammate, Justin Wilson, just before they took the grid, a fuel leak of that car, I spoke to the team. They think they have it corrected.
And we'll find out. The straightaway heading toward turn 3.
And Bill mentioned turn number 1, and in the driver's meeting, Tony Cotman, the race director, termed it as the vortex in turn 1, wanting to suck drivers in. And it's so wide and it's so tempting that that's what they're concerned about, is someone seeing open road and saying, I think I can put my car there. They don't want to pile them up in turn 1.
Bill Stevens.
One other comment on Justin Wilson. The team was up late last night debating whether or not to change the engine in that car. They have decided to stay with the engine that was in it. That's what they'll start the race with.
And getting back to turn 1, Jan, really fast heading in there.
Oh, it's super fast when they're fully up to speed. As Wally had said earlier, it's between 185 and 190 miles an hour.
Getting ready to go green here. On board with Graham Rahal in the Metazone car. He starts 10th today. Here's Justin Wilson in the number 9 CDW machine. He's in the 8th position. It'll be a staggered start when we get there. At least that's the plan.
That's the plan.
Simone Pagenaud also has an onboard car. It just went under the tunnel. The field coming to the green in 2007.
I don't think they're going to get it that time.
Nope.
And one of the reasons that they wouldn't give the green is they wanted to have a staggered start. They did not want the traditional side-by-side, so they weren't following the race director's directions.
And I don't think a lot of the guys in the back were up to the grid yet. I mean, we only had 8 or 9 cars there that were trying to be staggered. I think, like we saw that in-car shot of Graham Rahal, he was trying to get up to the field. But, Jan, you know, the stagger, if we're starting side by side, I'm not going to stagger. I'm sorry, you can tell me all you want, but I'm going to try to get up as far as I can. So this is going to be interesting to see if they can really pull off a staggered start.
Cameron.
Well, I talked to Will Power just before he got in the car, and he said even though he's on the pole, he's very concerned about the start because he is in the dirtier or the dirt-covered lane of the racetrack. He's very worried about the very aggressive Paul Tracy to his outside and worried that Paul's going to get the jump on him.
The clock has started. Again, it's a timed event, 1 hour and 45 minutes. When they do go green, hopefully this time, pay strict attention to turns 1, then the tunnel turn in turn 2 where it's very rough, and then turn 3, which has really proved to be very tricky.
And the call from race control was that P1 needs to have an advantage over P2, meaning that Will Power needs to be ahead of Paul Tracy as they approach the flag. That's why they didn't give the green. So much for stagger.
This is a time race.
Yeah.
Paul Tracy's not going to, I really don't think he's going to let that happen.
Marty.
Yeah, Bill, we saw the shot of Graham Rahal sitting back there, and they were telling him to catch up to the field, and he said, I can't. Everybody in front of me is not going. And he said, I wanted to go when they threw the green flag, but there were 4 or 5 cars in front of me that just didn't go.
On board with Graham, 18 years old, making his Champ Car World Series debut, the son of 3-time champion Bobby Rahal, the former winner of the Indianapolis 500. That's through the chicane, then downhill into the tunnel, then...
And to the right, I was just going to point out, Bill, that to the right of that is pit lane. That's where he split.
Sorry, Wally, let's try it again.
That's about all you're going to get from Paul Tracy.
And Paul Tracy's gone around the outside. Oh, whoa! That was Rahal. Rahal's been in the wall.
Graham Rahal, the 18-year-old, making his debut. That's turn 1. Field trying to funnel through. Sebastian Bourdais back there. And there is the car of Graham Rahal up against the wall.
And I'm not so sure. We'll see with the replay. But you know, this track's had a lot of dirt on it. Even after the cars have run, you know, the groove was good. But you can see when a car gets offline, there's a lot of dust flying. I wonder if he just got in that loose stuff.
Marty, you got some information?
Yeah, he came on the radio and he said Dan Clark hit him right into the wall. He said he just took me right into the wall, gave me no room at all on the start.
Well, there you have it.
Had so much success last year in the Atlantic, was looking forward to his debut, but he didn't make it to turn 1 under green. So early contact here at the Vegas Grand Prix. You're watching the Champ Car World Series on NBC.
Get ready for 3 days of non-stop go in the streets of Long Beach. Go watch the Champ Car World Series led by 3-time champion Sebastian Bourdais and his hot rookie teammate Graham Rahal. Go see the Long Beach debut of the American Le Mans Series race, drifting, Toyota Pro Celebrity Race, and more. Go to enjoy 2 concerts, a lifestyle expo, and all the things that make Long Beach famous. For tickets, longbeachgp.com, Ticketmaster, or call 1-888-82-SPEED. You know you gotta go.
NBC Sports Live at the Vegas Grand Prix, the season opener for the Champ Car World Series under caution. The field failed to make it to the first turn under green before the caution flag came out. Graham Rahal making contact with the wall. Let's take a look at what happened. 18-year-old making his first Champ Car start here this afternoon. Now we can ride along with Rahal.
Looking to see if he gets pinched. There was Dan Clark to his left, but I think, Wally, what you were talking about earlier, that is the portion of the racetrack that didn't have a lot of running, and it was dirty.
Yeah, that was a dirty part of the racetrack. You could see that the car came over on him a little bit, and he reacted a little bit, and when he reacted, he got in that loose stuff.
Marty Snyder.
Well, the replay showed a little dirt out there. I know it was a dirty racetrack, but did Clark get into you at all?
Well, I mean, what happened is, I mean, on the start, we weren't all packed up enough. And so I was trying to get right up behind Justin. In the meantime, Dan Clark must have been like 6th gear flat out. And it definitely jumped the start. And then what happened is he got up next to Yanni and realized he was going to either hit Yanni or go across the track. He shot across and, you know, I mean, I had to dodge him. And by that time, you're so far out in the dirt that the car just won't turn.
A short day for the rookie 18-year-old.
Thanks, Marty. Very disappointing. Talked to him yesterday along the grid, was really excited about the opportunity. Thought a podium finish might be in the plans, but not going to work out today for the son of Bobby Rahal. Now it's time for the Mazda Virtual Pit Stop, where you, the viewer, try to make the right call. Today's question: who has the best chance to unseat Sebastian Bourdais as the Champ Car champion? Is it Paul Tracy, Justin Wilson, or Alex Tagliani? Using a mobile phone, text A for Tracy, B for Wilson, or C for Tagliani to 55333. Each text vote costs 50 cents. We'll check in on the results a little later in today's race. So Paul Tracy is the race leader. Then it's Will Power, Bruno Junqueira, Alex Tagliani, and Robert Doornbos, the top 5 under caution here at the Vegas Grand Prix, the season opener for the Champ Car World Series. Disappointment for Rahal, but Sebastian Bourdais and company trying to make a run at the Champ Car World Series race here in Vegas. NBC Sports presents the Champ Car World Series Vegas Grand Prix. Today's race is brought to you by CDW, the right technology, right away. By action-packed thrill ride movie Redline in theaters April 13th. And by E-Trade. It's easy, it's extraordinary, it's E-Trade. Back in Las Vegas for the season opener of the Champ Car World Series. The Vegas Grand Prix were under caution. A couple of cars have been on pit road. Sebastian Bourdais, one of them. The race leader is Paul Tracy. Will Power, the pole sitter, runs second. Now, a couple of issues to discuss here while we're under caution. First of all, let's talk about the tires. There are the red tires and the black tires, Jan.
Yes, and for the Bridgestones, you have to run these red sidewalled, softer or more grip tires at some time during the race. The whole idea is they want some of the cars on black, some of the cars on reds, so it gives more opportunity for passing and more opportunity for different strategies. But a lot of the people are saying that the reds don't have near the longevity that the blacks do.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of guys down there today. They said, man, we don't want to be on these reds. They go off real quick. But here's my question, Jan. Why would they take them off right now? You've run a couple of laps on the green. If the tires are that bad, and I've heard some teams say after 3 or 4 laps, they're really bad. Why wouldn't you get them off?
Well, we're going to get stepped downstairs first to Cameron Steele, and then we'll get back to that. Cameron?
Well, I caught up with Derek Walker, and Derek, you weren't happy about the start, were you? I can tell by the look on your face.
Well, no, we're second. We should be first. But Paul's a good starter. He's got a lot of experience, and I think he was a little close to the front line there off the mark until the green flag flies. But he's got it. It's a long race, though. We're quite happy where we are.
Well, real quickly, while we have a second, we all want to say happy birthday to you, Derek.
Oh, thank you very much.
And the answer to your question, Wally, is the reason you wouldn't come into the pits right now with this yellow, it just may have turned this race into a 2-stop race. So you really don't want to have to stop 3 times. If it's a 2-stopper, you just got to live with those red tires.
You see the pace car headed for pit road. There's the chicane. Drivers weaving through. Pit road is to the right. The track stays to the left. You
we got somebody spinning already back
there. Sure do, at the back of the field.
Is that Figge, possibly?
Yes, indeed.
Car, Alex Figge.
His car sitting in the middle of the track, and the green flag is out.
Oh, now that's a block right there, Jan. We were talking about that earlier, too. What's the rule on that in Champ Car racing now?
You can't make any moves at all, so the stewards will be looking to see. I assume that was Doornbos, who certainly was a black and red car that appeared to move over, was a challenge from behind, and they'll look at that carefully up in race control.
Tracy in the blue and white number 3 car right there. There's your race leader. Then Will Power. The caution flag is out. Full course yellow.
I'm sure Figge couldn't get that car started, and that's why.
The flashing orange light that you can see above him is what they're going to use for pit closure. So you may not pit at this point until that light goes out.
So he sits there waiting for a tow, and the field will have to creep around this 2.4-mile track. Now here's the start. This is the restart.
Now watch the block. I think we're going to see here.
It was just prior to that. I think it wasn't when they were coming up out of the tunnel.
Right.
Just when you got the green, car was moving from one side to the other. And that's one of those things on starts and restarts, they are a little more lenient because you're trying to find some racing room and some sight lines. But during the race, no way can you move.
So the safety crew headed to help out that car with an issue.
And, oh, we ran into the back of his teammate. It's Ryan Dial.
Right.
It was one of the traffic jam. That's what happens. The cars, they all check up to go through the chicane, and it's kind of the accordion effect. It feels like the person, it probably happened to you on the highway, somebody gets on the brakes, and it's the accordion effect as you get back down through the field.
We expected to see some trouble at that chicane, but not under caution.
No, not on a pace lap. But we talked about veterans, and we talked about rookies, and that is a mistake that Alex Figge won't make again.
Now, one more issue we should probably try and address here is the fueling issue of these new DP01 chassis on pit road, something Champ Car has been working very hard on.
Yes, and it's one of these things where the new chassis and the new fuel cells, when they started to fill them up full of fuel, they had some issues with getting full fuel. But in the meantime, let's watch Sebastian Bourdais. He's just going to keep pitting Marty at the moment to top up the tank.
Well, and what they're doing, Jan, it's been a very busy few minutes for Sebastian Bourdais. He came in on lap 2 because, as you said, they wanted to turn it in to a 2-stop race. But under that green, this caution, very fortuitous because they found out they had a left rear tire going down. Now they have switched to the blacks. The other thing on top of all this, it's a very warm day here in Las Vegas. They've had problems with heat inside the cockpit, and now his water bottle doesn't work, so he won't be able to get any water all day long.
Well, can they hand him a bottle of water?
They could, but there's these pit stops are awfully quick, Wally.
6 seconds. I'm not sure how much water.
5 bottles of water. There's only a few bottles they can hand you, Wally.
Just hand him a bottle of water next time, Marty.
It's Figge on pit road. Takes a hit from the fueler.
Now, to finalize the fueler and the issue that they have, you could see that Sebastian Bourdais has been in twice and they filled it up, no problem. But when they go for a full fill, sometimes it's not venting quite properly. Some teams have it completely figured out. In fact, Champ Car flew in all kinds of pieces on Wednesday and Thursday. So some of the teams might play different fuel strategy today because they're actually not quite certain if they can fill the tank all the way in a pit stop.
And there you see them checking the tires.
And his name is Dog. It's because his dad's name was Hot Dog. He's been on the series with Newman Haas, Lanning, and now they found the puncture. In fact, he can hear it. And Sebastian Bourdais did not have good luck, but he has today that they found it under caution.
They found that right there, Jan, and they came in and found it right away. Dog found it right away, and as you said, you can hear it almost. It's leaking out of that hole right there, the left rear tire.
There, the pace car again will head for pit road, and once again we'll try and get in a full green flag lap here in Vegas.
And there was a call from race control. You saw some cars changing position. Race control actually had car 14 and 9 change position, so it wasn't that someone was passing when they shouldn't. They were told to do that by race control.
Justin Wilson in the 9, Robert Doornbos in the 14.
And my guess is that was that blocking thing that we saw, because I had a feeling that was Doornbos when we saw it originally. And here comes Paul Tracy, and wow, look at them. They light him up at slow speed. Wow, that's exciting. That's almost like a standing start.
Nearly 190 miles an hour when they get into turn 1. Tracy, then Will Power.
Here comes Doornbos.
Oh, nice move. That was a beautiful out-braking move right now. Oh, a little bit of contact there.
Justin Wilson appeared to get hit from behind in the CDW machine.
On board now with Wilson.
Here's the roughest part of the racetrack right here. You got to be really careful when you brake right here because the cars bounce up and down off the racetrack, and you're downshifting and braking at the same time. When these guys get a lot of laps on these tires, we're going to see some issues there.
Good long straightaway that leads you to turn 3, and then the rhythm portion of this course begins. A lot of right and left-handers connected by very short chutes.
But it's you pretty much run the same gear all through here. You get off the throttle, you kind of slow it down, then you hit the throttle real hard, get into another right-hander.
And it's worth talking about right now that some of the drivers might be using the Cosworth power to pass. Marty told us about that briefly when he was showing the steering wheel. You get 60 seconds of an extra burst of power, 18 seconds of additional 50 horsepower, but you can only use a total of 60 seconds in an entire event. Everybody has the same amount. You have to choose when you want to use it. Sometimes when the cars are this close together, it's a great time to try it.
Through that chicane and into the tunnel.
And that's Doornbos in the red and black making the move on Junqueira, and then behind the other Minardi car, it appeared, got into the back of Justin Wilson.
There is Wilson. Started 8th today. Again, young Graham Rahal out of the race on the opening green flag lap. This is turn 3. Now headed for 4. This takes you past the hotels and the casinos here in downtown Vegas.
And I will say that move that we were so impressed by was actually Alex Tagliani. Now that we can get a better look at the car, he also has that Lexington Energy black and yellow scheme like some of these others. Fantastic move for Alex Tagliani.
That red and yellow car, the McDonald's machine for Sebastian Bourdais, the 3-time champ. He's already been on pit road twice. Had problems in qualifying.
12th spot right now. And a lot of these guys around him, you'll see, we talked earlier about the tires, the reds. He's on the black, so he's on a little bit better tire right now. Fresher tires for sure.
Behind Neil Johnny in the Red Bull machine.
Got to be real careful through here. I mean, he's got a lot of rookies he's coming up to. He doesn't want to make any mistakes. He want to make sure that he thinks the rookie or the driver that he's going to take sees him before he makes a move.
With Simone Pagenaud. Then Johnny, then Bourdais.
I bet we'll see a move going into 1 here, Jan. There's a lot of room here.
Here he comes. Johnny has a European racing background where they make it more difficult and they do some blocking, but he follows the rules there but gets in super deep.
Bourdais in a similar situation last year where he had to start deep in the field, wasn't very confident before the race, but came on to win. More from Marty.
And Bill, you're talking about that Denver race. He actually started on the front row for that race, got in an early wreck on lap 1, as a matter of fact, had to go all the way to the back of the pack, made his way back up through the field to win that race. Today, he told me right before he got in the car, we're not quite as good as we were back then. But he said the bigger part is the tires. They wear off so quickly. I'm kind of in a box. I would love to be aggressive, but if I'm too aggressive, then I wear out the tires. So I've got to play that fine balance between taking care of my tires and trying to get to the front.
Trying to win 4 straight Champ Car World Series titles, Sebastian Bourdais. His first race as a father, Jan.
Yes, that's true. Well, it's not his first race in Champ Car.
Right,
yes, he's been racing some other things, but it certainly hasn't affected his focus. He's ready to. A lot of times he doesn't necessarily admit. But look at this. They'll battle for the lead.
Will Power trying to make the pass on Tracy.
Talk about shutting the door.
And here he comes.
Nicely done.
Will Power to the lead. Started on pole. Tracy took the lead on the green flag start. He started under caution when the field was not aligned properly.
And you can see Tracy going after. I mean, he doesn't like getting passed by anybody, but you see very aggressive.
Cameron Steele.
Well, it's kind of ironic to see Will Powell pass there because he said he was having his best luck in the tighter corners, but down the front straight, he wasn't very comfortable. So it's kind of interesting to see the changes they made at the car. I'm going to talk to Derek Walker here in a few minutes to see if we can elaborate.
Thank you, Cameron.
But Will Power has newfound confidence. There's no question. We watched him in qualifying. He just blew off the competition. He likes his car. You can see the way he drives. He's leaving only inches between the wall and the tires. And that's a newfound confidence that he's just built with the team and the car. He's going to be tough to beat.
Want more Champ Car race action? Subscribe to Race Director. Just go to www.champcar.ws and choose from 6 different camera angles while you listen to team radio communications and view live telemetry, all on your home computer.
Hey, you watch these guys going through that chicane area, Jan. They're starting to get a little bit more aggressive on those curves right now. You can see the first few laps, they were being careful, especially when you're racing somebody. You have the tendency, you want to make that thing a little bit shorter, and that's where you can damage your car.
And I think that Will Power is doing a couple of qualifying laps right now. He doesn't want to give Paul Tracy the sense. He wants to get far enough away to where maybe he'll discourage Paul Tracy.
On board, Justin Wilson, CDW machine.
With Mario Dominguez coming up behind. Great story for Mario. He just shocked the Champ Car community when he found out he was driving for Forsyth, the team that he was fired from last year as a last-minute deal. And certainly a lot of people pulling for Mario Dominguez. Bill?
I'll tell you, Paul Tracy is having the time of his life, and I'll tell you why. We talked about the fact that he is in his hometown, but when he was the provisional pole winner on Friday, he said that he loves street courses, and the first 3 races of the year are in the streets. Las Vegas, then we go to Long Beach, and then Houston. He says this race will be a big barometer of how dominant he can be this year.
Tracy trying to chase down Will Power. Then it's Alex Tagliani, Bruno Junqueira, Robert Doornbos. The top 5 here in the Champ Car season opener. That's the front stretch, pass, start, finish. There's Tracy in that blue and white machine. Former series champion, had a very disappointing year in 2006.
Now,
rough through here.
It's worth talking about, Wally, that Paul Tracy doesn't like the reds anytime. He didn't last year, he doesn't now. And as the red sidewall Bridgestones start to wear, it won't be as comfortable for Paul. But the next 2 stints that Paul does will be on the black sidewall tires, and that might be a tougher fight with Will Power.
Oh, here we go. There's a good race right there. Whoa!
Dominguez has already got by, but here comes Neil Johnny.
Yo, that's tight.
Neil Johnny up the inside. Justin Wilson has lost another position in the red and white, and here comes Sebastian Bourdais.
Bourdais is there, so is Pagenaud in that green and yellow machine.
That all started because Wilson's in trouble. Wilson has definitely fallen back through the field in the CDW. The red car coming right through the screen here.
With the white front wings. Then Bourdais in the McDonald's colors. So Dominguez with a nice move in traffic. And Johnny sure didn't look like a rookie there, did he?
Not at all. Look at this. Neil Johnny trying to take both spots Wow, Mario's thinking, yeah, I got Justin Wilson. Whoa, where'd you come from?
And then Pagenaud right on his wing. On board with Wilson.
So Wilson got a little wide.
Yep, that set it up right there.
Here comes Neil trying to squeeze it in. That
happens fast.
Great work.
Bourdais, wow. Well, you knew he'd be coming to the front.
I'm not sure if Justin, he was pretty close for contact there. And by the way, got a waving yellow. And we have a car buried in the tires. If that's one of the Minardi cars. OZ Jet is the main sponsor for Doornbos, but it's also on the other machine as well.
Dan Clark's car could be. And that's that spot right there where you're coming off the bumps. And
it is Dan Clark.
Yes,
yep, sure enough. They have the sponsors on both cars, but
Clark's helmet, easy to identify.
Don't worry, buddy. We'll get it back. Let's get going. See if you got your visor up. That's it. Gesture. We can see you.
That's gesturing, which of course means that he feels the car isn't damaged, possibly that the tires had done their job and possibly could get a tow.
Now there's Bourdais. Right behind the rookie Pagenaud out of the Atlantic Series. Now here's on board with Justin Wilson. There's Bourdais with the move.
It looks like Justin just has his hands full right now.
Yeah, the car's really loose. Remember, there was potential contact with the back of his car on that first restart, and it's just big time loose. The back of the car stepping out, and there's the answer to our question. No physical contact, but wow, is Justin Wilson out there trying to save his life.
Sebastian Bourdais, a three-time champ, trying to make it 4 and trying to start the season with a win coming from deep in the field here in Vegas. There you see the safety crew working with Dan Clark.
And he was in trouble
way back.
Yeah. That's a tricky part of the track, and it got Dan Clark. We'll be back in a moment with more from the Champ Car World Series Vegas Grand Prix after these messages and a word from our local NBC stations. NBC Sports live coverage of the Champ Car World Series coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada on opening day, and happy Easter to everyone out there on this beautiful Easter Sunday in Las Vegas. Under caution after Dan Clark stuck it in the tires down in turn 3. Several cars have been on and off of pit road. And the pit strategy really starting to play out here.
Yeah, a little surprised Tracy didn't come in and get those tires off. I mean, as much as he doesn't like the Reds.
And I think the reason he did not pit is right now he's only thinking about Will Power. If Will Power doesn't pit, Tracy's not going to pit. He wants to not let Power get any advantage.
That's Power in the 5 car, the leader, then Tracy. Let's take a look at some of the pit stops that happened while we were away.
Miguez will.
This is Alex Tagliani.
Which would have been the highest runner at the time that decided to hit pit road.
Takes the reds off, puts on the black Bridgestones.
And appeared, we talked about the fueling, appeared as though both he and also Sebastian Bourdais here are getting all the fuel. And we talked about maybe poor rehearsal makes great performance, although I couldn't say it earlier. It seems to be playing out.
And there was a report from pit road that Bourdais might have had another tire issue. Might have had another problem with his tires.
But it won't hurt him. Where he is right now, the more pit stops he makes under yellow, the better. Just keep doing it until he gets ahead of everyone on his fuel. And although he may have to stop about the same time, he'll take less fuel and have a faster pit stop.
So right now it's Will Power, the race leader, then Paul Tracy runs second. Power started on the pole. Tracy took the lead away. Then Power got it back. So we continue under caution here in Las Vegas.
Now, if for some reason there is a caution period between now and when Will Power and Paul Tracy pit, that will be a bad call by the two of them, because it'll leapfrog everybody else as we see Dan Clark making the long walk back to pit road. Marty?
Well, Bill, you talked about it. There's the right rear from Sebastian Bourdais' car. Another cut. This one, the right rear, as we said, the left rear was before this tire was going down. right before the caution came out. So Sebastian Bourdais finishes podium day. He's gotten 2 very timely cautions to help them out. And by the way, Wally, no more water in that car either. I couldn't get over the wall to hand him one. I tried, but couldn't get there.
They asked him if he wanted any.
They did ask him if he wanted one this time. He said, no, we don't have enough time. He's very focused, but with a brand new set of tires and once again, a fuel load of fuel.
Thanks, Marty. The quest for the Cup begins next Saturday as the NHL's best battle it out in quarterfinal action. Gear up for the Stanley Cup playoffs next Saturday. 2 games at 3 Eastern and noon Pacific. Pittsburgh at Ottawa, and the New York Rangers take on Atlanta. And next Sunday, 1 game. It's at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Calgary and the Red Wings. The NHL Stanley Cup playoffs on NBC. There's Alex Tagliani. Let's get an update from Bill Stevens.
Down here with Paul Gentilozzi, the head guy at R Sports. And Paul, the race isn't really into its main theme yet, but a lot of strategy down here with fuel and tires.
Well, we made the decision. We took in a little bit of a gamble here. We gave up P3 for P7, but we're on black tires. The sun's out. It's hot. We don't know what the racetrack will do. If we get to the end on one stop, we're heroes. If not, we're not.
And Alex is happy with the car.
Oh, absolutely. He's got a great car. He was saving fuel first one.
Got a good run going.
The field rolls through the chicane, then under the tunnel. Those are great seats right there. Those fans get to see some big action. Green flag coming out.
Wow.
What happened to Paul Tracy?
I was going to say, I figured Tracy was going to have a real good opportunity here on the restart to take the lead back. But
look at Junqueira.
Bruno Junqueira looking to the inside. Tracy holds him off.
I think Will Power caught Paul Tracy sleeping a little bit on that restart.
Could have been a gear change. It almost looked as though, since everyone but Paul Tracy, because that's so atypical, that would not happen to Paul Tracy. He is usually the king of restarts.
I was expecting him to be the lead going to turn 1 on this restart.
Again.
Yeah.
Marty, what do you got?
Just listening to Paul Tracy, he said if that wasn't a jump start, I don't know what it was. So he felt like he got snookered on the start. It wasn't a gear shift. He felt like they caught him not caught him sleeping, but jumped too early.
There is a specific point on the racetrack. There's a line drawn across the racetrack that they had said you cannot accelerate on a restart until that point. So it's a judgment call from the observer that's there, but they are told exactly where they can get on the throttle.
And you know Will Power was thinking about what happened earlier when Tracy beat him to turn 1. Power, the race leader in the green and yellow machine. That's Paul Tracy, the Canadian, running first and second, working lap 18. Here's the start.
Well, there's no question at the point where you're supposed to accelerate, Will Power is off to the races. And then an aggressive move by Bruno Junqueira. But when it comes to braking, one of the guys that's got to be the toughest out brake would be Paul Tracy.
And something that's really fun for these guys today, they don't have to pay any attention to the traffic signals. So don't let those think that they're in control of the race.
And by the way, the drivers asked if they could be turned off because they can be pretty distracting. Said no, if we shut those off, we'd shut down the whole city. They're all wired in together, so they have traffic flow.
Saw Sebastian Bourdais go by there. Justin Wilson on board with him, CDW machine.
Now Justin Wilson did pit, so we would assume that they've been able, he is on black sidewall tires, we can see that now, and let's hope that in that pit stop they somehow got rid of that looseness because that car was wicked loose with the back stepping out before.
So he's really pretty much in ideal conditions right now.
Well, we don't know if his car was possibly damaged. Remember we saw early on the very first restart, it looked like somebody got into the back of him, or if it was just a case where he wore out the red sidewall Bridgestones.
On the go, you can follow all the exciting Champ Car action with Champ Car Mobile. Go to www.champcar.ws to download a live leaderboard, wallpapers, and ringtones to your mobile phone. Standard data rates will apply. Champ Car Mobile. An update from Bill Stevens.
Well, I'll tell you, Justin Wilson has had quite a weekend. You guys already know about the fuel leak just before he took the green flag. Almost switched engines last night. And on top of that, he's still getting used to the paddle shifter. Now, guys, I got to ask you, you've driven here. How hard is it to adjust under all of those distractions?
Well, you know what? No, it's funny. We were talking to Paul Tracy the other day, I think with Marty and I, or maybe you and I, Bill. And he said, there's times where he's reaching down looking
looking for the shifter.
That's right.
I mean, because when you're used to using a shifter all those years, then all of a sudden you go to a paddle shift, it takes some time to get used to it. Some of these guys are having some issues with it.
He said it was his 16th year, and all of a sudden, you know what he did last year? He was a right foot breaker and changed to a left foot breaker. I mean, that's a lot different than just using your hand on a paddle versus a gear shift. That's like golfing left-handed and decided to pick up right-handed. I mean, it's a huge difference, but he's pulled it off.
And that's hard enough when you're just trying to play right-handed, let alone change. Marty, what are you doing?
I'm following Sebastian Bourdais, and he came in. He said, every time we pit guys, this is after the last pit stop, we seem to gain position, so this seems to be working out for us. And he had this quote: "If I was listening to my heart right now, I'd be crying, so I better check my mood." He's kind of getting inside the race car. Obviously very confident with what they have versus what they had earlier in the week in that one car.
Tell you what, you start moving forward, it makes you feel a lot better. Bourdais carrying the McDonald's colors. It's along the pit straight there, headed for one.
And you know what I think we've learned so far was one of the unanswered questions in testing is cars have never run together. This brand new DP01, as we talked about, was designed so the cars could run closer. This is the very first time that we've ever seen them run together in competition, and I think from what we've seen so far, they can run nice and close and battle. And Champ Car put a ton of resources into making that happen. I think that one has passed.
I mean, you look right there in that shot, there's about 10 cars.
No. Justin Wilson.
Yep, his problems continue.
Yeah, it's dead.
That's in turn one.
Sorry about that, Justin.
Being moved by the safety workers. And we stay under green for right now.
Okay, it's still running, but no drive, so that's gearbox.
Yep.
No gears.
So Justin Wilson, very disappointed. Started 8th. Cameron Steele.
Well, I've caught up with Joe Barbieri. We've talked about tires already today, and you guys weren't able to test here in Las Vegas. You did get some simulation data. Was it even close?
Well, no, we found out that it's somewhere between 15 to 19 miles an hour quicker than what we expected. So we're going to go back and analyze all this data, and I guarantee you next year we'll bring a different tire here.
Needing a little bit of a harder tire, is that what you're looking for?
Absolutely, yeah. With all the dust and all, that's really chewing these tires up. But the guys will learn to use them, make some adjustments to the cars, and I think we'll still have a great race after all.
Learning to use them means tire management. Back up to you guys.
Thanks, Cameron. Race leader, Will Power. Paul Tracy runs second, then Bruno Junqueira in third. Robert Dornbos is fourth.
Paul Tracy maybe closing that gap a little bit on Will Power right now.
And talking about the tire situation, and as Joe Barbieri said, they wish they had gone a step harder. But what's interesting, the more they run here and the more rubber you put down, these tires may be just about right in the very last stint of this race. Right now, the track is still very abrasive, but the more rubber that you lay down on it, the more appropriate this tire will be. So we could have a bang up of a finish once they lay some rubber down.
Marty Snyder.
Well, Bill, another gentleman that followed the race was Matt Halliday. What happened to you?
Well, I think there was a lot of chaos at the start. Rahal hit the wall, I guess, in front of me. I don't know why, but I was already had a really good start. Was on the outside of the 3 cars and had nowhere to go. Trying to avoid him and getting crowded and touch the wall and bend the suspension. So it's been a tough weekend. Hopefully next weekend will be better. Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
This is a team that plans to run just the first 3 races of the year. They're hoping to run more maybe later.
Bourdais is coming.
He is. He just forced his way past Robert Dornbos. And there's no question, when he starts getting giddy on the radio, he knows he has a good race car, and Sebastian is coming to the front.
We talked about the Mazda virtual pit stop. Had a chance to text in your answer who has the best chance to unseat Sebastian Bourdais. And Paul Tracy starting the season in his own Las Vegas track. The Canadian gets 71% of the vote.
Tell those things, that's pretty cool, real time. There's a lot of votes coming in. Bruno Junqueira lost a bit of momentum. Dornbos slides on by.
Through the chicane, then downhill. Into the tunnel. And up onto the pit straight.
The other advantage that he has is that if there were a caution right now, he would not have to pit. The guys ahead of him would.
Yeah, Paul.
And so the two drivers, Will Power, Paul Tracy. Yikes.
Does Sebastian have problems?
Dornbos gets by.
Yeah, something's gonna miss.
Yep. The three-time series champion clearly off the pace.
I don't know what happened. Pit now.
Got it right front. Looks like it's flat.
Cycle the ECU if you can. Cycle the ECU.
No, it's a tire though.
Okay.
I think you're right.
Got flat tires.
Yeah, flat tire.
Gosh, you're good, Will.
That's really going flat.
It is. That's a long way back to the pits from there.
He's had fantastic luck. He's had full course cautions.
Take it easy. Get it around him.
That's 3 flat tires on that car in 24 laps.
But it looks to me like the side of that tire is not black, with the wheel.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that he may have rubbed the wall.
Concrete dust.
Yes.
On the side of those.
Yes. See, typically the sidewall of the rim will be dark black anodized finish, and it looks to me like he's got into something.
Really trying to nurse that car. Back to pit road. Up front, Will Power leads Paul Tracy. It was a second and a half. And most of these guys...
When he gets here, we'll do 4 tire change, fill them, and he will pour on the lights. Let's have a good look at this front wing and everything at the front of the car, guys.
It's Kenny Seawick speaking to Sebastian Bourdais.
Make sure none of the suspension is bent. That's one of the most important things.
Both these leaders on the reds.
Well, I guess they don't always tell us the truth after warm-up.
That driver not telling the truth? Come on.
I've been working with Wally a long time. Drivers never tell the truth.
And that's Tagliani.
Tagliani on the move.
Yeah. That would be by Dial. And now Bruno Junqueira, who was really quick, is now off song, unfortunately. At the beginning of the race, he was quick, but now he's actually letting guys by.
Marty.
Well, guys, it took a long time for Sebastian Bourdais to get over here. They want to look at the rear tire as well. As you said, Wally, this is now 3 cut tires on this car. We want to make sure that there is indeed concrete that we might have seen on the right front. Trying to get it back in gear, trying to get off pit road. Finally does that. We're going to check out this right front tire. But amazing 3 tires on this car so far today.
I think Junqueira is probably just off his tires.
He's certainly dropped way off the pace. Dial now putting a lot of pressure on him, but as we said earlier on, he was really quick in the Dale Coyne machine.
Ryan Dial, a 25-year-old rookie. That black and silver car.
That's a new team, Pacific Coast Motorsports. And some of the veteran teams, like in Newman Haas Lanigan, have really tipped their hat here to Pacific Coast. And they said, as hard as we have had to work all winter as an established Champ Car team with this new car, they've worn out their mechanics. And they said, what on earth with a brand new team like Pacific Coast that they have managed to do as well as they have getting their program together? All the other veteran teams have said, you guys have done a fantastic job.
Dial's teammates with Alex Figge there, right?
Yes.
On the back of the 19 of Junqueira.
Here comes Pagenaud, which is, of course, the same color scheme, the Australian green and gold, as they call it.
Let's check in with Bill Stevens.
Yeah, Jan, you were just talking about Pacific Coast Motorsports. You know, they really are a fascinating operation with Tom Figge, Alex Figge's dad, owning that team, and they really do have the best of everything. Team manager Tyler Tadevik, you'll remember him. A few years ago, he was the head man when John Fogarty won the Champ Car Atlantic Championship.
Wow! Oh, look out! Whew. Like you said, don't want to get offline. That's Tristan Gamandi in the dark blue pay-by-touch machine. And he's on the move.
Looks to the inside.
Wow.
But
here comes Catherine Legg.
Catherine Legg. Catherine Legg in that 11 machine, the black and gold.
And Catherine's a great racer. She wishes that she was a better qualifier, but once she gets into the races themselves, she's aggressive.
Now, you drove with Catherine this year, right?
Yeah, Catherine drove with my brother, George Robinson, and I at the 24 Hours Daytona, and we had a good time. She did a very good job.
Will Power led 2 races in 2006 for a total of 14 laps. He's led 15 so far today, working on 16.
You know, Will on the approach to that final corner, he almost looked on his approach, not on the exit, almost looks like he's rubbing the car on the wall. I mean, he's really leaving no room for error on the approach there to the final corner before the chicane.
How often is he looking in his mirror to see what Tracy's doing back there?
Hopefully not at all. It's one of the things that you actually train yourself to do, to try not to look in the mirrors, because it takes your focus off what you're supposed to be doing. And look at this. And don't you think they would love to put Sebastian Bourdais a lap down? But if Sebastian's car is in fact okay, I don't think he's going to make that too easy.
There goes Sebastian, then Will Power, and Paul Tracy.
I don't know, you may see the times drop a little bit. When you see a guy like that up front, all of a sudden, your focus is to catch him.
In this next section, if we stay with Will Power, I'll be interested to see if he does this again on the approach.
27 laps complete, working lap 28.
It's right after the rhythm section. When he sets up, right here, look at this. He wasn't quite as close, but in the last couple of laps, he's been really rubbing on that entrance.
Now, one thing I noticed, he's been going through the chicane and hitting those bumps, the curbs a little bit harder. Let's watch right here. See, Paul Tracy gets through there a little bit slower.
Oh, they're both pitting.
Both heading for pit road. The 2 race leaders, Will Power and Paul Tracy, headed for pit road, completing lap 28. So now it's up to the guys on pit road to keep Will Power up front, and Tracy will try and pick up time on pit road.
Then I want you to concentrate on Steve. Look for Steve waving. Concentrate on your marks.
It's Neil Nicolai.
Concentrate on the marks. Everything's fine. I want you to be nice.
Tracy on the left, Will Power on the right.
But Tracy's pitted ahead. We won't know until Tracy leaves.
Tracy's looking at
Yep, there he went. Yep. And this is the fill. See, typically the car would fill more quickly. If you're going to try and make it a 2-stop race, you have to wait for it to fill. Last year, that pit stop would have been much quicker, but you're better off not taking a risk and not getting it all the way full. This is the issue we talked about. Because the venting slows down, they have to wait and wait for it to get all the way full.
So you think Will Power got all fuel?
Yeah, see, that's what they said. One car, Will Power's car has been fueling okay. Simone Pagenaud's car, they've had a lot of trouble with. It just depends. They don't have it quite fine-tuned yet.
Well, we'll see how that plays out for Paul Tracy. Will Power with a quick stop. Stops occurring under the green flag. You're watching the Champ Car World Series on NBC.
Get ready for 3 days of non-stop go in the streets of Long Beach. Go watch the Champ Car World Series led by 3-time champion Sebastian Bourdais and his hot rookie teammate Graham Rahal. Go see the Long Beach debut of the American Le Mans Series race, drifting, Toyota Pro Celebrity Race, and more. Go to enjoy 2 concerts, a lifestyle expo, and all the things that make Long Beach famous. For tickets, longbeachgp.com, Ticketmaster, or call 1-888-82-SPEED. You know you gotta go.
Our NBC Sports team live in Las Vegas for the season opener of the 2007 Champ Car World Series. There you see race leader Alex Tagliani and rookie Simone Pagenaud.
And we heard earlier from Paul Gentilozzi, who was talking about the strategy, and this is the kind of leapfrog effect that you have if you come in early, stay out of trouble. But one thing that we have noticed is the Cosworth power to pass, that extra horsepower. Tagliani has already used it all up, but Simone Pagenaud still has 49 seconds, and Pagenaud is reeling him in. This is his very first Champ Car race. He's right on top of Tagliani.
There you see the rookie. Champ Car debut, as Jan talked about.
Of course, he is Sebastian Bourdais' protege. And in one of the early sessions, he outran him, and Sebastian was very gracious. He's very proud of him. This guy can drive.
I guess really where you want to use that, obviously, he can't really use it in in the rhythm section, but if you can get through the chicane and he can be right on his tail.
Sit there and save some fuel. Long way to go.
That's Rob Edwards talking to Simone Pagenaud, and that would not indicate that he's wanting him to use power to pass. He's like, you got to drive to your fuel number.
Coming to NBC the first Saturday in May, it's the Run for the Roses, the 133rd running of the Kentucky Derby, the world's best thoroughbreds and the most famous race in the world. Don't miss the Kentucky Derby, presented by Yum Brand, Saturday, May 5th on NBC. Up the hill to turn 3, Pagliani and Pagenaud.
If it was your first Champ Car race, and you had a chance to move, Sebastian
Bourdais with more issues.
This I think
That's going to do it right there.
That's the end.
Bringing the wing back with him, though. 3-time series champ has had a very disappointing weekend here in Vegas.
He told me in spring training.
You need to get off there. You are damaging a car that we cannot afford to damage further. Get to a safe haven and park it, please.
Marty?
You guys hear the conversation, Bill, with Sebastian Bourdais. They want him to park it. They have to use this car at Long Beach if they can. They do have a backup car. They were planning to try and test these cars at Phoenix, but obviously that may be out the window now. The reason we wanted to talk about this also was because the toe end was knocked in on the car. So the toe link was knocked in on the car. They knew it was going to be a matter of time before they had another tire problem. They just didn't think they would run into the wall like they did last time.
And sometimes when it's towed in, it can actually let go. So it may have been that piece let go. And what I was starting to say was in spring training, Sebastian Bourdais said, you know, you can't win a championship in the first couple races, but you can sure lose one. And I'll bet he's thinking about that at this very moment.
That's a tough start. And this series begins with 3 straight road course races in 3 consecutive weeks. Long Beach next week, you'll see it on NBC. Then on to Houston.
I was also starting to say that if you were doing your very first Champ Car race and you had a chance to take the lead, and your engineer is saying, just take it easy, save a little fuel. I mean, come on, let me push the button.
There's Catherine Legg, currently scored in the 4th position. Driving for Dale Coyne Racing here in 2007. There was a lot of talk here, even as late as Saturday or Friday morning, about who was going to drive for the Dale Coyne teams.
Tristan Gamandi ahead of her.
Pay-by-touch machine.
A surprise announcement. You talked about how late it was for Catherine Legg, as Sebastian now is making the walk away from his car. He essentially flew to Laguna Seca, Mazda Raceway, got named as the driver, sat in the car for the very first time. They were building a seat for him while they announced that he had done the deal, and then found out he didn't have near the fitness to hang onto the car at a high G-force racetrack like Mazda Raceway at Laguna Seca, and he's been doing some weight training ever since.
Want more Champ Car race action? Subscribe to Race Director. Just go to www.champcar.ws. Choose from 6 different camera angles, and while you listen to Team Radio Communications, you can view live telemetry, all on your home computer. Race Director. Cameron. Check it. Let's check it.
Bill, I'll take it here. Thank you very much. Paul Tracy is coming back to pit road because when they came here, they did not get the car full of fuel. They also think Will Power did not get his car full of fuel. They changed 4 tires, sent him out. We'll have to check and make sure they did get it full this time. They didn't want to take a chance on running out. I asked one of the engineers earlier. He said we were woefully short of getting it full last time, and they stayed a long time last time.
Here come the leaders, but that's got to be so frustrating for Paul Tracy because we noted that he spent an inordinate amount of time on pit road the first time taking fuel, and then to find out it didn't fill. That's just very frustrating. But again, the teams have been working flat out to try and get this figured out. Some have it and some don't. And that is a very interesting question to find out if, in fact, Will Power in his quick pit stop did get his fuel.
Pagliani in the red and black machine, the race leader. Then Simone Pagenaud, a rookie. Gormundi, another rookie, is 3rd. Then Catherine Legg is 4th. Will Power scored in the 5th position. There you see the telemetry on the 8 machine of Pagliani.
Pagenaud looks like it's a little bit better through this section of the racetrack. Tag makes just one slip up. Pagenaud's going to be there. But so far, those guys are both working the track perfect. See, Pagenaud gets it right up on this tail, right through this area, right through the slower stuff.
And again, we'll point out, Tagliani, according to our computer, has used up all of his Cosworth power to pass. And Pagenaud's trying to push that button, but he knows if he does, the engineers will be in his head.
Well, because he has to make it to the pits on a certain lap, and they just watch it so carefully. And on the dashboard, which is actually the very top of the steering wheel, it just gives him a constant readout of how much fuel he has burned and how much his fuel number is. Again, it's not that they don't have enough fuel, it's that if he can save a little, they can go one more lap before they pit.
The big story so far today, Graham Rahal did not make it to the first turn under green. Hit the wall along the right-hand side of the pit straight. And Sebastian Bourdais, the three-time series champion who started deep in the field, is out of the race after numerous tire problems.
This is Will Power working up through the field.
Catherine Legg in front of him. That's fourth. Legg is fourth in that yellow and black machine. Then the Aussie Vineyards machine of Will Power in fifth. Cameron, what are you working on?
Well, I can tell you're talking about what happened with Paul Tracy. I got some thumbs up confirmation here at Team Australia that Will Power did indeed take a full load of fuel. Thumbs up all the way around. I can also tell you they're working feverishly on the system this morning before they came out to race.
They worked very hard. It could pay off for Will Power. Currently runs in the fifth position. Season opener for the 2007 Champ Car World Series. Alex Tagliani is scored as your race leader. There are the top five. You're watching the Champ Car Series on NBC. They're famous for being funny, but with no scripts, no rehearsal, and a live audience, will they fall flat or will they make them laugh? Thank God you're here. Premieres Monday at 9, 8 Central on NBC. There's our race leader, Alex Tagliani. Let's check in with Michelle.
Just spoke to Paul Gentilozzi, who informed me that the leader, Alex, has 44 seconds on power to pass it. Their strategy right now is saving fuel.
Well, that's interesting because the computer in our booth says he's used it all up.
And computers always tell us the truth, don't they?
Right, sure they do. You see me use my computer this weekend. You know I can't trust that.
It comes from a data stream, and there is occasionally some issues with data streams. So that is good news.
But they wouldn't mislead, Michelle.
Okay, say, wait a minute. We're talking about Paul Gentilozzi.
Well, that's true. But it is odd. Alex Tagliani, as a veteran, would know that at this stage of the race, to have none left would be very ill-advised.
Yeah, according to our computer here, he's the only one that theoretically has used it all. A number of guys have used it. Catherine Legg has used it a little bit as well. Will Power, Aussie Vineyards ride, started from the pole. Pole sitter in two of the last three races, as Marty Snyder talked about earlier. That's Catherine Legg right in front of him. Legg runs in the fourth spot. Will Power in fifth. Tagliani is the race leader. Two of those Aussie Vineyard cars running in the top five.
Derek Walker, pretty happy with that team right now. I mean, you know, first race of the year, but he just really liked the way things came together over the winter.
When we saw Derek down in the paddock on Thursday, he walked up to you and goes, "Man, you're all grown up." And I felt like saying, "Boy, you haven't talked to Wally in a while." But you guys go way back, don't you?
Yeah. Well, Derek's been around IndyCar racing for a long, long time, and had some really good efforts.
There's Tagliani. He is the race leader.
Oh, and Alex Figge's back out. We saw him stopped after that chain reaction at the chicane, but he's out there as a rookie, getting some experience.
The other Pacific Coast Motorsports car. Teammates with Dale.
And with that section he just went through, and that was Tagliani followed in behind. So I believe the leader is on pit road.
Bill Stevens
Here comes Alex Tagliani. Oh, is this a big pit stop as he comes in? Watch his fuel man, Randy Karpik. It's very important that he knows that that fuel cell is completely full. We've talked about it today. There's so much on his shoulders. Fuel's still going in. 4 new Bridgestone tires. He's waiting. He's waiting. He's watching that silver clear tube on the top of the filler, and it looked like he got all the fuel. Let's go to Cameron.
Right now, Tristan Gomendy is in the pit. He will be able to go the rest of the distance if indeed they get a full tank. You can see he's getting a hit from a stick behind there to let him know that they've got a full tank, a full dump. Jimmy Vasser, one of the team owners here at PKV, saying they will be able to go all the way to the finish from here.
And that's the rookie Pagenaud in front of Tagliani in that green and yellow machine.
So the Walker team has filled both of their team cars faster than the competition. One of those cars is way off song. You can hear a misfire, but boy, that was fantastic work by the Aussie Vineyards crew, Walker Racing. Excellent work. Oh, which car is that? That
sounds like that one right there. Let's listen.
Yep, Simone Pagenaud. Oh, crushing.
Engines, that's right. Something is wrong with the engine. Yeah, 10-4. Keep running with it. I see it on telemetry. Keep running.
They don't get better.
No, they don't get better. And sometimes you can recycle. You heard that someone say earlier, recycle the ECU, that's engine control unit. That basically means reboot the computer. But generally when you have that kind of misfire, that doesn't help.
Tagliani right behind him. Not for long. Tagliani makes the pass as they head for the chicane.
Feel bad for him here. He picked up the position in the pits and has no chance but to move it, give it back.
You can follow all the exciting Champ Car action with Champ Car Mobile. Go to www.champcar.ws to download a live leaderboard, wallpapers, and ringtones to your mobile phone. Standard data rates will apply. So Tagliani takes the position, and Pagenaud is going to nurse it as long as he can.
If he doesn't get run over first.
Look out.
That's Tracy?
Yeah, Paul Tracy.
So Paul Tracy picks up the 6th position.
I believe got to think he's going to come to the pits this lap. I mean, he's way off the pace. He's just going to be in the way out there right now.
Settle down, calm down. Drive back to the pit lane, come into the pit. Pit this time.
So when he says calm down up,
he got wound up, but because he knows, he feels like things probably just about to blow or something. What do I do? I believe they wanted him to do one more lap so they can analyze the telemetry to figure out what part to replace.
Yeah. Well, the thing is too, the team's got to understand he's getting run over out there.
Yeah.
So you're trying, you're as a driver, you say, hey, listen, I got these guys, I'm in the way, I don't want to wreck this thing. So yeah, he's probably a little bit wound up, but for good reason as well.
Absolutely. Catherine Legg taking advantage of it as well.
Now, if you're Derek Walker and company, are you wondering about Will Power?
Not really. It's an isolated. It could be any number of things.
Stop in the box.
Simone Pagenaud, the Atlantic champ from 2006.
Cosworth guys will be there waiting for him.
Yeah.
Come into the pit box, switch off, just sit tight.
It'll take a while.
Cameron.
Well, you can see they're getting work going immediately on the back of Simone Pagenaud's car. We're going to be moving over towards Derek Walker and Rob Edwards to try to get an update here in just a second and find out where they're going. And we're listening to the radio right now as well, boys.
We've got a problem with the engine, we need to fix it, okay?
That's a veteran voice trying to calm a rookie driver.
Yeah. Complimenting him on doing a great job, and when you have some type of electrical / engine related issue, he's just got to be patient. It's not going to be a race he's going to win, but he may get back out there and get some more valuable seat time.
His teammate is scored as the race leader.
Well, back at the point, Will Power, Pagenaud's teammate.
Started from the pole. Got schooled by Paul Tracy. There's Robert Doornbos in second. He would be a rookie.
he would be a rookie, but he has a tremendous amount of experience, including Formula One. Talked to him today. He said he was a bit concerned about the rolling start. It was the very first rolling start he'd ever done. The first time he ever, this morning, in the final practice, had tried saving fuel. These are all new concepts on street racing and Champ Car and some of the strategies. But remember, his engineer is Michael Cannon, the very engineer that A.J. Allmendinger had last year when he was dominant.
So he's headed for pit road. 11 F1 starts in the last 2 years for Robert. And we'll head to the Minardi team for work. Bill Stevens.
Down here, guys, in comes Robert Dornbos, having a great run today. Again, the fuel cell situation. Team Minardi has actually stationed somebody up on the wall to make sure that that fuel filler begins to bubble. That indicates that that fuel cell is completely full. But as you can see, these gas stops are taking a little longer than normal. It seems like an eternity. The tires have already been changed, and he's away.
That's the race leader, Will Power, on the right. Aussie green and gold.
And you can hear Michael Cannon underneath just saying, take it easy, it's going to be a really long stop. And if you looked in the vent hose, and we might want to go back and show a replay, but you could see in the vent hose just fuel pouring out of the vent hose, which normally is the signal for the fueler disengage.
And you can almost see the fueler.
Yeah, he wants to do it.
Pull out.
They're like, no, let it splash. It takes some time. And again, all of the teams have to use the identical parts. It's not like they can come up with some widget that fixes it. Champ Car is right on top of it. They've flown out all kinds of new parts, but unfortunately, some teams using the identical parts that they work great, and other teams are still struggling. The leader.
Will Power, race leader, being called to pit road next time by. For these drivers that are used to 6 or 7 second pit stops, that must be agonizing to sit there.
Is this a normal fuel run? Did he run that long?
Now you see, someone didn't tell us the truth.
I was going to say,
he pitted 16 laps ago. I don't think you're going to be pitting in 16 laps if you got a full load of fuel. You should be able to go 25. So, you know, when he did that quick pit stop,
yeah, we wondered.
You were on the money.
We'll see if that was his radio. They did. We heard radio traffic saying, hit this lap next time by.
Working around the hotels and the casinos in downtown Vegas.
He's coming up on pit entrance up here right after he gets through the chicane, so we'll see if he dives to the right.
This time, pit.
And there it is.
Here he comes, race leader to pit road. And again, just watch the fueler. Can be a very frustrating situation, but Will Power headed for his stall along pit road here at Vegas.
Right on the mark. Going to take in a lot of fuel this time. Take a little bit longer. You're running great. You just got to keep doing what you're doing. Right on the mark.
They'll talk him all the way through, and let's take a look at.
There's a little miscue.
All right, we're all right. Just got to take a little bit longer on the fuel.
You want to keep an eye on the
time behind. When you go out, we're going to go.
It's Derek Walker trying to keep him calm.
The fuel valve closed. The fuel valve closed.
Right in here. That's where you're looking. See all that fuel flowing?
Okay, go.
Wow. We are so used to seeing 6 to 10 second pit stops in Champ Car. I guess in this particular case, they obviously got pinned with the front tire.
Right.
And it was going to be a long stop anyway, but unfortunately, in order to get all the fuel, they just have to be ultra slow.
Extremely frustrating for the drivers and the teams. Bumpiest section of the track right here. 90% of this racing surface repaved for this race.
And that was about the difference in time. Now, Paul Tracy is back in front of Will Power, and that is about the time, you know, if you add it up, Paul Tracy was in there that much time in the pits longer than Will Power the first time.
Yeah, but Paul Tracy had to come back. So the fact that Paul Tracy now is ahead after making 2 pit stops, pretty impressive.
Tracy is running some very fast laps out there right now.
See how it all pans out. We'll be back in a moment with more from the Champ Car World Series Vegas Grand Prix after these messages and a word from our local NBC stations. Wild start to the 2007 season for the Champ Car World Series. 18-year-old Graham Rahal in his first Champ Car race hits the wall on the first green flag lap.
Not the start he was looking for, certainly, but tell you what, this guy's the real deal. He's gonna be good in these cars.
Alex Figge spun under caution.
Getting into the back of his teammate.
This is Will Power, the pole sitter, taking the lead back from Paul Tracy, who took it on the first green flag lap. Dan Clark into the tire wall. That's outside of turn 3. Justin Wilson, fast early, but then difficulties put him out of the race. And he also made the long walk back to the paddock. 3-time series champion Sebastian Bourdais with a miserable day that is now over. Why? Because last time we saw his car, it looked like that. And finally, under team instructions, he just parked it in a safe place and went to McDonald's for lunch. Will Power came in as the race leader, had a little trouble getting into his pit stall there, and then it took forever to fuel the car, a common problem we've seen throughout the day. Working lap 48, Bruno Junqueira scored as the race leader.
He's out of sequence, but he's leading. And at one time, we certainly saw him in a lot of trouble. And Wally, you thought that was the red tires going off. He's on the blacks now and obviously has good balance. Will have to make a pit stop and give up this position. But great ride for him. Again, another driver that wasn't confirmed until he actually got here on Thursday.
So what you're saying is that Paul Tracy and Will Power are racing for the lead. Is that what you're telling me? Second and third?
Unless we have some odd caution timing. But no better place to be running up at the front, gaining time. And who knows, maybe his car fills quickly. You know what, this race could be won by the one that can actually take a full load of fuel.
That's right.
in 10 seconds. You'd be miles ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, Paul Tracy is, I think, the fastest car on the racetrack right now, and here we go.
Well, let's see if the Dale Coyne operation can, in fact, have what we've become used to. That's Dale on the radio.
All clear out. Look for Arturo. Hit your mark. No changes. Black tires only and fuel.
Cameron Steele.
I'm waiting here for Bruno Junqueira. Remember, he won a race in each of his first 5 seasons of the Champ Car. Last year, he was not able to do it. Now, you'll see the umbrella coming over on the back of the gas man. He is waiting to find out how much fuel is going into the car. They are going to be able to fill it a little short. They've shut it. Problem with the fuel fill going on right now.
I don't think he got in.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think he got a drop of fuel.
He is going to be coming back in, or he's going to run out of fuel.
Fueler was motioning from the beginning that there was no fuel flow whatsoever. And there's something that's called a dead man valve. It's just... Yeah. That's Dale Coyne.
We got to do it again. The valve's got to go straight. The valve never went.
There's Dale Coyne on the right.
Yes.
Team owner.
There be some fuel. Pit. Dig.
The valve never opened. And I was talking about a dead man valve. That is a large valve that someone physically has to hold down with a spring. If there was ever a fire and you let go of it, it shuts off the fuel flow. But it sounded to me like that was the nozzle, not the dead man valve on the actual tank itself.
Paul Tracy, the race leader. Let's check in one more time on today's Mazda Virtual Pit Stop. See where you viewers try and make the right call. Your last chance. Today's question was, who has the best chance to unseat Sebastian Bourdais as the Champ Car champion? And there are the results. Race leader Paul Tracy, a popular pick.
They know what they're talking about so far.
Yeah.
Will Power runs second. Tagliani scored third. Then the rookie Duambros in fourth. Catherine Lake scored in the 5th position. Working lap 51. There's Tracy. Now this is Junqueira's pit stop.
Now watch immediately. Watch this. This is the sign. Give me fuel. Give it to me. Open it. It's not flowing. And the fact that he's motioning back to the dead man valve, but it appears as though the actual nozzle here, where it engages in the car, was the one that wasn't opening.
And I'm kind of surprised that they released that car. If there's no fuel going in, they must have known that. Why didn't they? You can hear Junqueira was revving the engine up. I think that fueler wanted to get out of the way of that right rear tire. But still,
I still should have said,
wait,
You're
stop,
right.
don't go.
Because they're going to lose more time doing it this way than if they just would have taken care of the problem right there.
Especially if you don't make it back.
Tracy leads. Headed for turn 1. About 190 miles an hour when you get there. Tight left-hander. Then downhill, roughest section of the track. They couldn't smooth out this portion of the track because it's below the water table. They were afraid if they weren't too deep, they might hit water.
Yeah, they said, yeah, you can grind if you want, but if you spring a leak, you might be in a couple $100,000 of a redo job underneath there. I said, well, we can live with a few bumps.
It'll be a fountain part of the race.
Marty Snyder.
Well, guys, Paulo's cruising out there now. They've told him he's the fastest car on the track. He has not said one word since they had the fueling issue earlier in the race. He wanted no changes on that very first stop. They do have one more stop coming up relatively soon they have to make on this car.
Thanks, Marty.
Will Power gained out on that lap.
Update on Power from Bill Stevens.
If you talk to Will Power, you're not going to be too surprised that he's running up the front, in the front, around the front, because all weekend long, that was the phrase that he used. We think we can run up front. We think we can run up front. His chief mechanic, David Faustino, has come up with a tremendous race package, according to Will. And just to show you how dominating he was in qualifying, his second fastest lap would have got at the pole.
Thank you, sir. NBC Monday, April 23rd, Heroes returns. They saved the cheerleader. Now it's time to save the world. Heroes returns with an all-new episode, Monday, April 23rd on NBC, the return of Heroes. Paul Tracy trying to be a hero here in Las Vegas. He's the race leader. Will Power runs second. Then it's Alex Tagliani, the rookie Robert Durnbos, and Catherine Legg, the top 5 here in the Vegas Grand Prix.
And Will Power's lap times are unbelievable. He's done a 1:19.9 as his fastest lap of the race. Paul Tracy's fastest lap is a 21.3.
Yeah, right now, Will Power is 1 second a lap, 1 second faster each lap.
That is huge in street racing.
See how it plays out as the timing clock ticks down here at the Vegas Grand Prix, the season opener of the Champ Car World Series, live on NBC.
Get ready for 3 days of non-stop go in the streets of Long Beach. Go watch the Champ Car World Series led by 3-time champion Sebastian Bourdais and his hot rookie teammate Graham Rahal. Go see the Long Beach debut of the American Le Mans Series race, drifting, Toyota Pro Celebrity race, and more. Go to enjoy 2 concerts, a lifestyle expo, and all the things that make Long Beach famous. For tickets, longbeachgp.com, Ticketmaster, or call 1-888-82-SPEED. You know you gotta go.
A lot of fun here at Vegas this week. Paul Tracy at an autograph session, making friends on this here in Vegas. And look at this. Paul Tracy, the race leader, and Will Power right behind him.
See if Tracy ducks in pit lane this lap.
The left-hander here. Through the chicane. If he goes to the right, it's to pit road. Stayed out. Less than 18 minutes of race time remains. So Tracy will pit next time by. 2.2 miles from there. You can see the clock counting down in the top left-hand corner of your screen right above the running order. That's race time remaining. All Champ Car events in 2007 are timed events.
Now I'm going to be wondering if I'm Tracy, okay, I got to come in and put fuel in. Does everybody else? That would be my next question to my crew chief.
The good news is, with 17 minutes left, he shouldn't need a complete full fill. And that's obviously, we already know that Paul Tracy is one of these cars today that takes a very long time to fill up. So that may be a blessing in disguise for the Forsythe team.
It's been a fueling issue with some of these DP01 chassis. Every team in Champ Car runs the same car. This is its first race. Some glitches were expected. Champ Car has worked very hard on the fueling issue, and the teams have worked extremely hard as well. through the chicane onto pit road. Marty Snyder.
And he's coming this time, Bill, and they told him, Neil Mickelwright, one of his engineers told him, go as hard as you can go for these laps and then bring it to pit road. They asked Paul about chassis changes. He once again replied, none. This is a young man who's very hungry to win a race. His last win, June 2005, 22 races ago. He will bring it down pit road very slowly. There'll be no changes, and they'll get the fuel they need.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Let's listen to Neil Mickelwright.
You will get no drink. Everything's going smooth. I want you to get ready. Get ready. Hold, go, 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 go.
And you heard him say, Bill, it was going to be a short fill. So that was a short fill. They did not need to get him full, as Jan pointed out earlier.
And by the time we could even circle the vent hose, they were gone. So what a bonus when you don't have to fill it up completely. You don't have that venting issue. And Paul's got to be feeling pretty good right now because we know that Will Power will have to pit at some stage and get some fuel as well.
Power the race leader, then Tagliani runs in the second spot. There's Will Power.
Well, actually, I say we don't actually know for certain. I'm looking, he pitted 11 laps ago. Will Power may not have to stop again. Again, we'll have to do the math on the close down to 15 minutes and number of laps he's going to complete, but he may be good to go.
Yeah, that's why I was saying earlier, if I'm Paul Tracy, all right, I'll come in, but I want to know if he's coming in too, meaning Will Power.
Cameron, what are you working on?
Well, I've caught up with Will Power's teammate Simone Pagenaud in his rookie debut here in Champ Car. Not the way you're hoping it would go.
Well, yeah, I mean, what can I say? We've been doing a great job. You know, we were right on the pace all the weekend. I struggled a little bit in the beginning of the race with the cold tires, but after that we're right on the pace, fighting for a podium, which is good on a rookie day. I think we'll be good contender for the championship. We just need to fix some reliability problem, and I think we'll be right there.
Today an engine problem put him out, and you'll remember that he missed the warm-up this morning with the fuel cell issue.
Difficult start to the season for the rookie.
Hey, Cameron, while you're there, find out if Will Power needs more fuel, because that could be,
Another car is
Neil Johnny.
Yes.
Neil Johnny has pulled into the drive-through.
The rookie, born in Switzerland, lives in England, 23 years old. Formula One test driver in 2006.
Alex Figge.
Looks like he's had another spin. Had one earlier.
The Halmatro safety team thankfully hasn't been utilized for any extrications, which is what Halmatro builds, which is why they sponsored a safety team this year. But they're getting their exercise,
yes, they
getting
are.
people restarted. When these onboard starters get perfected, they should have an easy day.
And that's a new addition to the car in 2007.
Yes, and as Cameron was saying, these cars will start when they're cold. Unfortunately, they just don't have enough power at the moment to fire up when they're hot. But again, that's a work in progress.
Bill Stevens.
Guys, I just talked to Paul Gentilozzi, and you can see Alex Tagliani is back in. They thought they were going to be able to go the distance, but they were banking on another yellow flag. They didn't get it. It's a splash and go for the number 8 car.
So Tagliani heads off of pit road.
Okay, he did 18 laps. Will Power has done 13. So Will Power, it just depends on if he filled it up last time.
Well, Jan, I can tell you from down here in the pits, I just got the nod from Derek Walker and the engineer and another crew member. Now remember, this could be a chess game they're playing with me. They're giving me the thumbs up all the way around. They believe they can go to the end of the race.
But they told you that the last time, right, Cameron?
Well, it's not the first time I've been lied to, especially down here in the pits, because, you know, everybody's listening to everyone else, and you're never sure if you're getting the true story. But I will say the crew is all up on the wall. So we'll see what happens here as we get closer to the end of the race.
Cameron, just text them and see if they respond.
Yeah, there you go. Alex Tagliani.
Paul Tracy, currently scored in the 5th position. He's 39 seconds behind the race leader. Different pit strategies playing out here in Vegas, as we see throughout the year in the Champ Car World Series. Through the chicane, and down through the tunnel. And here's where you're hustling the car. Let's get an update from Marty.
Well, Bill, so I don't get accused of lying, I'm going to let Neil Mickelwright tell us the truth. Can you guys make it all the way on fuel, Neil?
Absolutely. Yeah.
No problem at all.
No, we're good to go now on fuel. We're just giving it everything we've got, hoping a few other people have to stop or slow down to make it.
The one quote that Neil told Paul earlier on was, I want you to drive as hard as humanly possible. You have the car to win this race.
Probably don't have to tell that to Paul Tracy.
No. That might bite you. I'd say drive just a little under what's humanly possible so we have a car to take to Long Beach. But Neil Mickelwright, we listen to him a lot on the radio. He really has kind of a soothing, encouraging kind of tone. And you know what? When you're riding around in a race car, the only guy who's riding with you is the one on the radio, and he's one of the best.
And Neil's been there a long time.
Yeah.
Will Power, the race leader, less than 11 minutes left here in Vegas. When we come back, we'll take you right to the checkered flag in the Vegas Grand Prix on NBC. NBC Sports presents the Champ Car World Series Vegas Grand Prix. Today's race is brought to you by Bridgestone. For drivers who want to get the most out of their cars, it's Bridgestone or nothing. By the action-packed thrill ride movie Redline, in theaters April 13th. And by the all-new Mazda CX-9, 7 passengers the Zoom Zoom way. Coming down to the 8-minute mark here in the Vegas Grand Prix. All timed events in 2007. This one 1 hour and 45 minutes and 8 minutes now left to go in this race. You can see the clock ticking down in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. Will Power is the race leader.
By a bunch right now, too. We've got about a 16-second lead on second place. As Will, if he's got enough fuel, everybody else is in trouble, Jan.
And he hasn't backed off enough. If he was in fuel trouble, his lap times would be quite a bit slower. So it does appear at the moment, as we take a look at Robert Dornbos, who has worked his way. Fantastic debut for him. He runs second at the moment.
Update from Cameron Steele.
Tristan Gomini coming in right now, and you'll remember, you can see him sliding past the marks. Everybody here in pit road talking about how slippery the pits are. There you saw the tap. It was just a splash. You will remember, however, though, that Champ Car veteran Jimmy Vasser did tell me they had enough fuel to go all the way. They ended up needing a splash.
That might not be a lot of fun to drive on the last few laps for him, huh?
I'm not sure if he, it may have looked the right front you're talking about when he flat spotted that tire. I'm not sure. Probably looked a little bit worse than it really was.
At that speed in the pits, it should be okay, but you can see him. It's so interesting that you can see the body language because he slipped past his mark. He's like, oh man, sorry.
Yeah, and the third guy was going, it's okay.
It's all right, don't worry about it. You just need fuel anyway. The marks are really important when you're getting a tire change because obviously the guys have, in this particular series, you have the opportunity to put the wheels in place. And you saw what happened when it was one of the Team Australia cars that came in, Will Power. Pagenaud.
Yeah.
You can pinch a guy against the wall, and so the marks are really important.
You see the drivers doing the job on the track. Assisting today is one of the most experienced group of marshals ever assembled for a Champ Car race. Among the 100-plus volunteer marshals are participants from the U.S. and Canada, plus a dozen from England, 6 from Holland, and 2 from Germany. The average experience level here, over 20 years per marshal. More of the same next week when we get to the Long Beach Grand Prix. You'll see it here on NBC.
Tristan Gamondi, we're watching, and he's a driver we talked about earlier who physically did not have enough strength, and he is a fit guy.
5 laps to go. Let's push.
And he is a fit guy that in a high-speed racetrack, physically, because there's so much downforce on this car, felt as though the steering was locking in the corners, just didn't have enough strength to turn it.
Yeah, these cars they're very physically demanding to drive. I mean, people don't realize how, I like using the word violent. I mean, when you hit the gas pedal, it throws you in the back of the seat. When you go through a corner like that, you're pulling G's. And now you get to the turn 1 and you're jamming on the brakes and you're being thrown forward in the car. I mean, these cars beat you up when you drive, especially on a track like this.
But what a great feeling, though, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's fun. That's why we do it.
Let's get thrown back in the seat. Let's hang on the belts. Let's slam our sides against the side, because that's what makes it fun.
With Wally, that's the ride back to the hotel. Robert Dornbos runs in second position. The rookie who, as Jan pointed out, a lot of F1 experience, 11 F1 starts in the last 2 years.
And I think the key here, as I mentioned earlier, the name Michael Cannon. He has the engineer last year who originally was with this team, moved over to Forsyth and worked. You see him on the upper left of the screen. He was the brain trust behind AJ Allmendinger's setups last year when he just dominated. And you may say, well, wait, it's a different car, so those setup sheets don't work. Well, you know what? It's still the same tires. It's still the same engine. The car's about the same weight. So if you have the computer know-how to transfer what you had on the old car, those things still work. Bill?
You know, I talked to Robert Dornbos before the race, a fascinating young man. Obviously, he has a chance of being the top finishing rookie today. But what's really interesting with him is that up until today, he had never had a running start in a race car. In Formula One, it was always a standing start. And the only other street race he ever competed in was in Formula One in Monaco.
He picks the good venues, doesn't he?
And Monaco, this place has got to be like a 100-acre field to race in compared to Monaco, because Monaco is one of the tightest street courses you'll ever race on.
Yeah. Well, they do have a tunnel. We have tunnels. I'll be honest, I didn't expect to see tunnels in Las Vegas. We got a couple of them here, though. They're pretty exciting.
There's the hometown boy, Paul Tracy, the Canadian, lives here in Vegas. Currently runs in the 3rd spot, but more than 30 seconds behind race leader Will Power with 3 minutes plus to go.
Hey, Marty, has Paul Tracy asked yet if those other guys got a pit?
He has, and he said all they replied back was, you're a long way back from the guy in front of you. I think he's some 15 seconds behind second place at this point. But as you mentioned, Bill, his hometown race, he hasn't won in a year and a half, signed a brand new sponsor this week in Monster Energy Drink. He finished second 3 times last year. He described last year as very frustrating. This may be a frustrating start to 2007. Even though he's going to finish well, they know they had a car that could have won this race.
Yeah, but you know what? When you're in that situation, at least you have some hope. I mean, you know you're going to be able to fix that problem. At least you're not out to lunch. When you are competitive and you have problems, that's a little bit easier to take, I think, sometimes than if your car's just not running well and, you know, you're not getting the finishes.
And he just drove by his nemesis, the McDonald's car of Sebastian Bourdais. And any day that you're getting more points than Sebastian Bourdais is a good one.
Because there haven't been very many of those in the last few years. And how about Will Power? Looking at his first Champ Car World Series win.
2 laps to go, 2 laps to go, keep going.
Tracy heads into turn 1.
They want him to push just in case the calculations are wrong for Will Power. He's not going to catch him if nothing happens to Will.
There's the race leader. Less than 2 minutes away from his first victory. His second full season in the Champ Car Series. Won the pole at Surfers Paradise last year.
I think that was the breakthrough for him. He went out on a street course in Surfers Paradise that's similar to this, especially there with the big curves. He let it hang out in his home country. He got the pole position, and he's been a different guy ever since. He's just gained that confidence, and he's almost unstoppable.
Last lap here at Las Vegas. Will Power, the race leader. An 18-second lead over Doornbos.
Sounds like he's saving fuel right now. I mean, when he went through the chicane that time, normally he would just lighten it up, and boy, he really laid the throttle down easy. In fact, I don't know who that is trying to catch him right there.
Bruno
Giacchera.
But it looks like he's taking it easy this lap.
Well, you would, even if you had fuel. You don't want to push it when you have an 18-second lead. But he was calling back. What'd you say? I want to be sure I get it right. He is so mild-mannered, but he gets with it in a race car. As far as personality-wise, he's pretty laid back. But you know what? When he had his qualifying time here yesterday, he was all fired up. But just walking around the paddock talking to him, he's very unassuming.
Past the hotels and the casinos in downtown Las Vegas for the final time.
I think Marty asked him this morning, didn't he?
Yeah.
You can qualify. You've got what it takes to win a race.
Yep. And he said he thought they were there. Derek Walker, looking for his first Champ Car Series win since 1999. Out of the tunnel, up the hill for the final time. The Champ Car season begins in Las Vegas, and Will Power is the winner.
Got it, Will, you got it. Well done. Fantastic job, Will. Fantastic.
Haas coming home for second.
Whoa, that was close.
And Paul Tracy looking for the third position. Well, I would imagine there might be some Aussie Vineyards wine consumed.
I would think that's a possibility.
To Cameron Steele.
Well, the excitement, as you can imagine, here in Team Australia's pit. Happy birthday to Mr. Derek Walker, of course. Dave Faustino getting his first pole here as your engineer and his first win, and a nice birthday present for you. It's got to be thrilling.
Well, it's a birthday for the whole team, actually, and my partner, Craig Gore, he couldn't be here today. He's in Australia. I'm sure he's got to be watching, so thanks, Craig. Good job.
I know that you had some frustrations leading into the race. You were working on the fuel filler. You also had some problems with Simone Pagenaud's car. Were you thinking it might be a problem-filled day, or were you hoping it all got behind you?
Well, you just never know. You know, the guys have been working non-stop since we got here. You know, we've done a lot of testing, but still, you're never done until you get it out there and race it. The guys worked hard. Everything worked on the day, so we won the race. It was a good job all around.
There you have from Derek Walker, a little Easter and birthday present together. Let's go down to Bill Stevens.
Down here with Michael Cannon, the crew chief for Robert Donbass. I watched you the last 10 minutes. You were fidgeting, wringing your hands, wiping your brow. Tell me how good it feels right now.
It's lovely. I mean, I thought we were going to do another all-stinger and get the guy first win, first outing, but I mean, Power had a very strong car. They're a good bunch of guys. I'm very happy for Walkers. But there have been a lot of cars having problems, falling by the wayside, so it's a new car to everybody. I mean, we were pretty nervous, but boys did a great job.
And your strategy today seemed to work to perfection.
Actually, we were forced into that strategy a little bit. So we didn't get all the fuel in the car on the first stop, but we knew it'd be close. We got him safe fuel, and he did it for us.
I have to ask you, I know you don't wish anybody ill, but to see what happened to the three-time champion today, and to know that there's a long season ahead of us, there may be some parity this year.
Oh, indeed. I mean, we gave Seabass a good run last year, but make no mistake, Sebastian's an excellent competitor. He'll be back just as strong as ever at the next race, I guarantee.
What a debut for Robert Donbass.
Thanks, guys. An exciting day here in Las Vegas. Paul Tracy comes home third, his 73rd career Champ Car podium. 30 of those victories. Paul remembers them all, and this is one Will Power will never forget. His first win in the Champ Car World Series. He led 29 of the 68 laps today. Now he heads for the celebration. You call that a surprise winner, Jan?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's easy to say that now, but he was the class of the field in qualifying. It was just, could he keep the car together? And that's the question that Marty asked. You're a heck of a qualifier. How are you as a racer? Well, he answered Marty's question definitively today.
Well, he started first, and he finished first. He's congratulated by his team, and somewhere down there in that celebration is Marty Snyder.
Well, Bill, it's been 8 years for this race team, for Walker Racing, since they won. It was Portland back in 1999. They last pulled into victory lane. Today they do it here in Las Vegas, the inaugural Las Vegas Grand Prix. And I asked Will earlier, you know, you're seasoned enough to win a race. He told me off camera, I know we have the pace. I just hope I can do it. Not lacking any confidence, though. He pulled it off today. And his first career win. Will Power, everyone. Feels good, doesn't it? How long have you dreamed about that, Will?
Oh, mate, yeah. I mean, since Surfers Paradise last year when we got taken out, we were in the lead. But no, it was a good race. We did our strategy. We got Tracy back on a restart. Oh no, he made a mistake, and then we just cruised along. At the end there, you know, I had no brakes. I just had to sort of coast into the corners. But yeah, I mean, the team did a great job, and without the support of Aussie Vineyards, we wouldn't be here.
You had to get around Tracy. Were you worried though when your teammate fell out?
No, I didn't know he was out. Yeah, I saw him crawling around, but I had no idea. I was just on my program.
All right, a nice birthday present for his car and Derek Walker. Congratulations. Let's go to Cameron Steele.
Thank you, Marty. I'm here with Paul Tracy, and Paul coming home third, but you seem a little bit frustrated with that.
Yeah, I mean, we had a great car today. Obviously, Will was quick, and I was quick. We were pulling away from everybody, but the first pit stop, I had to come in again and get fuel for 4 laps. So the car didn't take the fuel on the pit stop, which really compromised our race. I think we were one of the quickest cars on the track, lap for lap. But hats off to Walker Racing and Will. We had a good result, and it's good to finish on the podium in our home race.
All right, congratulations to Paul Tracy and all our winners. We'll send it back upstairs.
Thanks, guys. The celebration underway here at Las Vegas. Will Power gets his full win. The veterans with some good runs, but how about the Roush Franz rookies? It could be a really interesting year for those Roush Franz rookie contenders.
They're really good. They've got so much experience when they get to this point. But I was really surprised how everybody did a really heads-up job as far as driving for being rookies.
And Catherine Lake ties her career best finish with a 6th. And there you see the rest of the finishing order. Tough day for Graham Rahal.
And his expectation was he really thought that he could finish on the podium, and he said so confidently. Nothing worse than getting out in the very first corner.
Been a lot of fun here in Vegas. A reminder that the Champ Car World Series returns to NBC next Sunday, April 15th at 4 Eastern with live coverage of the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Coming up next on the West Coast only, it's the National Heads Up Poker Championships. And for everyone else, coming up next, it's your local news. And starting at 7, 6 Central, don't miss an all-new Dateline NBC, followed by Deal or No Deal and The Apprentice on NBC. For Wally Dalleback Jr., Jan Beekes, Marty Snyder, Cameron Steele, Bill Stevens, and Michelle Beisner, I'm Bill Weber. So long from Las Vegas, where Will Power gets his first career win in the Vegas Grand Prix. The Champ Car season is underway in 2007, and we'll see you next week from Las Vegas. Thanks for having us in for the race, and happy Easter from all of us at NBC.